Hello, Year 2. This video is going to talk you through the English task for this week, and the theme is all about kindness and community. The first task I'd like you to do is shown on this slide, and it gives you some vocabulary that is linked to our theme. So here's the vocabulary at the bottom of the screen, and what I'd like you to do for this task is to match up the words that are down here with the definitions. Now you'll notice I've got 3 meanings here, but I've actually got 6 words underneath. So what I'd like you to do is to really challenge yourself, and the 3 words that are left over, see if you can write what you think those words mean. Then turn to the next slide and have a look at the answers. And here they are. These are the answers. So then what I'd like you to do to start with is to take our vocabulary and to write sentences using these words. So at the top of a blank page in your journal or exercise book, here is our learning objective. I can apply vocabulary within a sentence. So the first picture that we looked at with all the hands together in the red heart, these pictures showing a sense of community, and I think we'll all agree that community is very, very important, especially at the moment with what's happening in the world. And I just wonder if you could have a think about what are the people doing in this picture to keep their community spirit up. What do you think the meaning of that picture is? If you want to pause the video at this point and flick back and have a look at that picture, please do so. And what I'd like you to do is, for your first sentence, you would write, people in this picture are showing community by. And I'll just type that onto the screen for you. So, to answer this first question, I'm going to use the word community in a sentence. I'm going to say, there we go. Right. Everyone can be kind and show kindness. How have you shown kindness recently? So, you're now going to apply the word kindness in a sentence. I have shown kindness by, and so on. So underneath your learning objective, you'll have your date and a series of sentences. Each sentence will use and apply our vocabulary for this week. So the next task for this week is I would like you to think of someone who you think deserves a medal. And this is where our art project combines with our English for this week, because we're thinking about emotions and expressing our emotions through art. So I'd like you to think about somebody who has been really brave, or somebody you know who has been particularly kind, or someone who's been really creative. And then you can draw a medal for that person, and the design and the shape of the medal is completely up to you. You could even include in your picture a picture of the person you think deserves that medal, and then write some sentences about what it is they've done to receive it. It will be really lovely to see examples of your pictures, and if you post them onto your portfolio, I can put them onto our class story. And if you send them to me directly, if you can message them to me on Class Dojo if you like, and just add a little message underneath saying, please can you post this on our class story, and I can do that for you. What I'd also like you to focus on is spelling words correctly. The next task, I've given you some spelling words. Now, these are spellings that are really relevant to the writing that we'll be doing at the moment. Okay. You may also have come across these words if you've been reading the news or if you've been listening to news round on CBBC. So I'd like you please to learn the spelling of these words. You can practice writing them in your journal. You can practice writing them several times. You could write each word 3 times and practice your joined up handwriting. If you really wanted to challenge yourself, you could write sentences with these words in as well. The next task this week, you're going to be using conjunctions: when, so, before, after, while, and because. So it's important to write longer sentences that have more than one idea in them. And these conjunctions allow you to add another idea into your sentence. We're going to be using conjunctions in the next task that I show you. But before you go on to do your main writing task for this week, you could practice writing some example sentences with these conjunctions in. Our main writing task this week is writing a set of instructions. So your task is to write a set of instructions on how to be kind. In your journal, I would like you to have a planning page. I'm just going to reduce this slide down a little bit, and I can show you what that would look like. So imagine for me that this is your page in your book, and on your page you're going to draw a line down the middle. And on one side you'll have your ideas and your plans, and then you're going to write your draft of your instructions on the other side of the page. So your ideas and your plans will be all of these things here that you need to think about. What could you do to be kind? You could phone a friend who's feeling sad. You could ask a grown-up if you can have a FaceTime call with your friend. You could tell your friend a funny joke. So all of your ideas are going to go onto this side, and then you're going to write your instructions on this side. Now, I'm going to come onto the next page in a moment, and I'm going to show you the features of what your instructions need to have. The first thing they would have would be a title. And your title would be How to Be underline our title. Then we need to include the things that we need. So it could be a phone, a joke book, a happy smile. So we include the things that we need and then we write the instructions underneath. Now, writing instructions, there's some really specific rules. And we do use conjunctions a lot when we write instructions because we need to include steps. So first, think of a friend who needs cheering up. Next, ask a grown-up if you can call them, and so on. And that's your set of instructions. I'm going to show you now an example of a set of instructions that have been written by another child. Here is your example of the set of instructions that have been written. So we have a title, we have a subheading, you will need, and then you'll notice that there's bullet points. Then we have our steps, and you'll notice on the screen here that the child who's written this has included what's called fronted adverbials. First, next, after that, finally, to start off each step. So that the words at the beginning of the sentence here, these fronted adverbials, are showing the reader the order in which things need to happen. The other thing you'll notice when you look at these instructions is that there's lots of crossing out and ticking and things that have been added in. And the next slide will show you what that's all about. So I would like you, on the next page of your journal, you can print this slide and you can cut this out and stick it in, or you can copy it. It doesn't really matter which one you go for, but what I would like you to do, please, is I would like you to make sure that your draft instructions have got all of these things in. So bossy verbs, phone up your friend, ask a grown-up, tell your friend a joke. So it's an instruction. You're using adverbs for extra information. Adverbs are words like carefully, politely. They describe how you do something. Happily, gently, nicely. So, politely ask a grown-up if you can phone your friend. Accurate punctuation, capital letters, commas, full stops. Conjunctions where needed. The conjunctions that we're looking at this week are, if you can remember from the earlier slide, when, because, if, but, so. And appropriate layout features, like I've shown you in the previous examples. So that is your main task for this week. If you'd like to, I've got some pictures here about kindness and community. You can flick back through these pictures in your own time. But the task related to these pictures is to answer these questions here. And finally, I'd like you to really get creative here and to be inspired by the pictures that you've seen and the work that you've done thinking about who you would give your medal to or how you could show kindness. If you have time this week, it would be great for you to make your own thank you sign for someone you think deserves a big thank you. It will be really great to see examples of your work on Class Dojo. And I'm going to create a portfolio task for instruction writing about how to show kindness, and also a portfolio task for your thank you posters and your medals. So I hope this video has helped to explain about the various different tasks, all linked to our English work for this week. I'll also be setting up a Zoom lesson in the early part of next week to explain a bit more and answer any questions you may have.